Hey everybody, welcome to another action-packed, exciting episode of Scotty's Record Shop. Before we get into the subject at hand, which you already know what it is because of the thumbnail and the title, right, obviously, I want to thank everybody who watched the last video. A little bit of a surprise for me because, who would have thought that BTO, Bachman Turner Overdrive, would get that many likes? Now, for some of you who are big-time YouTubers, 150 views is like peanuts. But for me, I'm grateful for every single video that, or every single watch that everybody does. So, I'm not doing this for money. I'm not doing this for fame. Thank God, because I'm not getting any. But I do appreciate each and every one of you who watch these videos. Okay, subject at hand, ranking the studio albums of the band Rainbow. My relationship with Rainbow is a little weird. I even though I was into music when I was really young, thanks to my brother and other family members and stuff. Early '70s. For some reason, Rainbow just flew by our radar. The first few Rainbow albums. I knew that Ritchie Blackmore had a band called Rainbow. And really, the first thing I remember hearing by Rainbow was the song "Since You've Been Gone" uh, on radio. That was the first thing that got played on radio up here in Maine, from my memory. And I was like, yeah, it's okay. And I still feel that way about that song. Just saying, much better songs by them. But um, in '81 or so, Straight Between the Eyes came out, and Stone Cold started getting played on the radio a lot, and I love that song. Went out and got the album, loved the album, and then at that point in time, it's like, okay, I need to investigate this band a little more. So that's how I kind of got into these guys, kind of late in their career, so to speak, which is really weird, but because I like Deep Purple. We knew about Machine Head. My brother had Machine Head in '72, '73. Made in Japan. We definitely had that in '73. So I knew who that band was. Um, Rainbow stemmed from Ritchie Blackmore's um, unhappiness with the direction that Deep Purple was going in. He had been unhappy, honestly, for a long time. I think he's just he's an interesting guy. My father-in-law, my late father-in-law, ex-father-in-law, I don't even know what the hell you'd call him now, um, was a music journalist in Cleveland, and he interviewed Ritchie Blackmore a couple of times. And no disrespect to his ability to play, he's brilliant. But he when I asked him, "What do you think of Ritchie Blackmore?" He's like, "He's an asshole, complete asshole." And a lot of people kind of feel that way. He's a very difficult, complicated man. We'll just leave it at that. Brilliant guitar player, though. But he was kind of getting a little burned out, and I don't like the direction that Deep Purple's going in. And he wanted to record a song called "Black Sheep of the Family." He just wanted to do it, the cover version. Deep Purple didn't want to do it. So what he did was the band that was opening for Deep Purple at the time, which was Elf. He's like, "Hey, you guys want to just go in the studio and just blow this out with me?" And they were like, "What the hell? Sure." And he really liked Dio's voice, Ronnie James Dio. He really liked his presence. They went in to just record that song, and they just kept writing, and they just had a lot of fun. And the next thing you know, there's an album, complete album. And at that point in time, Ritchie Blackmore was like, "You know what? I'm going. Goodbye. This is ridiculous. I don't like the drama and crap inside Deep Purple right now. So I'm going to go with my own band." And that's how Rainbow started. And Rainbow has gone through many iterations, and formed. It originally started out as a kind of a, I don't want to use the word dark, but a mythical kind of lyrical band. And then it turned into a pop rock band because Ritchie Blackmore wanted to take it in that direction. But anyway, these are this is my ranking of their albums. I welcome you letting me know how you would rank these albums. Uh, you know, everybody's different. There's nothing really overly controversial. I was looking at the list, and it's like, there's no hot takes in this. I don't think anybody's going to go. It's not like Rainbow Rising is at the bottom. Okay, it's not happening. At the bottom though is an album that I own, but I don't know where it is. I I have, you can't see it. You've got, I'm starting to redo shelves here and stuff, and I've got a bunch of boxes of CDs over there in a closet, uh, and I have some CDs down in a storage unit along with a bunch of other stuff, and that's where that CD has to be because I've gone through everything, and the CD is the very last Rainbow album, Stranger in Us All, and I remember getting that when it came out because I was like, oh cool, a new Rainbow album, and it was a totally different band, and it came out in a weird time because it came out when grunge was kind of like, it was kind of it was kind of phasing out a little bit. I think personally, I was getting sick of grunge by that point in time. 80, 95, 90, I think it was 95 that came out, and I bought it. It was like, it's good melodic hard rock. It was a Rainbow album, well played. No, there's no like bad Rainbow album. I make that really clear. But the album Stranger in Us All, I just didn't connect with it. I just mentally, I was moving on or something. I don't know. It's a good album. I mean, if you want to, there's no bad album by Rainbow. Like, I want to start somewhere. If you had to start with that album, it's still good. Excellent playing, excellent musicianships, decent songs. But, okay, so that was at the bottom, but not necessarily a bad album. No bad albums, right? Okay, continuing now with the stuff that I know where this stuff is, right here. Okay, next one is their last album before the breakup, before Richie Blackmore went into reform, Deep Purple. Um, Bent Out of Shape. Now this album was Rainbow at its fullest melodic rock, you know, point, and it's not a bad album. And it's funny because this is the era kind of that I kind of came in on them with, was the melodic rock kind of Joe Lynn Turner singing era. So you'd think that this would be much higher, but as time went on and I discovered the earlier albums, it was like, damn, this is good. Again, not a bad album, but it is not at my bottom. Let's see here, how many we have? One, two, three. I don't even know how many I have. Whatever, you count. But Bent Out of Shape. Okay. Next one is the only album they did with a guy named Graham Bonnet on vocals. It's the last album with Cozy Powell on drums. Cozy was an amazing drummer. And that's Down to Earth. This was the transition. They were transitioning from the Dio-led. Dio was very clear. I am not going in a pop direction. I am not writing a love song. I am not, he didn't say, they did do a cover on the first album. They did a couple actually. But he was not into writing love songs. And he was not into having outside writers write melodic rock songs that were going to be a hit. And again, Richie Blackmore was like, I want to be more popular. I want to make the money, I guess, But a good album, but again, Since You've Been Gone, an outside writer, it that was the first song, like I said, I heard by them, and it was like, it's okay. Um, there are much better songs on this album than that, in my opinion. So, anyway, Down to Earth. Good album, just not my favorite. We get into the first album with Joe Lynn Turner. By the way, Graham Bonnet only lasted one album. An interesting guy. You look up interviews of him. He's an interesting guy. Very colorful, I guess that's the word I would use. But difficult to cure. Again, they're kind of moving in that poppy I shouldn't say poppy, melodic rock hit machine kind of direction. Not bad, um, but you know, again, I probably should. I do like this stuff. I should probably like it more because, like I said, it's kind of where I came in. But great cover though, isn't it? Huh? Difficult to cure. Um, from what 80, I think something like that. 79, 80. Anyway, now we go to. Some people would put this a little higher. If there's a hot take in here, then this would be it. But really, this is a fantastic album. Fantastic album. That is the very first Rainbow album, Ritchie Blackmore's Rainbow, 1975. This was the album that, well, that first of all, it has the band Elf on it. It's basically Ritchie Blackmore with Elf, and Ritchie Blackmore was not happy with Elf, and this is still a damn good album. A classic album. If this is number one for you, I get it. But after this album and the tour, um, Ritchie Blackmore was like, we are not going to continue with this band, but I'm keeping you, Ronnie. So Ronnie stayed. He felt a little guilty, from what I understand, about having to ditch the rest of his band, Elf. But Ritchie Blackmore, I think, did do a right decision, which will be exhibited on their next album. It got even heavier and just great. But this is a super duper great classic album. Ritchie Blackmore's Rainbow. Okay, this is kind of these two could flip flop. Some of you would definitely put the one that's coming up next before this one, and I understand that. But again, this is sentimental for me. Straight between the eyes. This was the album. This is my introduction to Rainbow, so I have sentimental, you know, connection to this album. Stone Cold. I mean, Jesus, right? Come on. I even though that's kind of a melodic rock song, it just blew my friggin' head off. I loved it. I still love it to this day. I think this is a fantastic album. Uh, you know, again, it's that melodic rock. Gets pretty heavy at times too, but it's the direction that Ritchie Blackmore wanted to go in, and I think personally this was the album where it was fully realized for him. This was a commercial success for the band. It did really, really well, and it got me hooked. So there you go. All right, that was at number 3. Okay, number 2. These are no hot takes here. Nobody. I don't think anybody's gonna go. How dare you? Long live rock and roll. Come on, people. This album kicks ass. Long live rock and roll. Kill the Kings. I cannot believe that I didn't know about this and Rainbow Rising when they came out. I just cannot believe that. It was like, where the hell was I? The reality was that this stuff was not getting played on the radio from my memory. Now, if you're from Maine, and we're talking about a radio station here called WBLM. It's been around for 50 plus years. That's our rock station. If you remember them playing Rainbow, then put it in the comments, because and then if you remember it, they did. But for some reason, it was like, whew, it went by me. And I don't know why, but I love this album. This album kicks. The number one album for me is always going to be the number one album, but this is always going to be number 2 for me. Long live rock and roll. This was the last album that Dio played on, sang on, because obviously we went to Down to Earth after this, and unless you want to count the live album, which we're not doing live albums here. That's a great album, and there's been some live albums released from those tours, the first couple of tours, first 3 tours of Rainbow. You pick those up if you want to. You should, because this was a great band live. They extended stuff. They jammed out really hard. If you like that kind of stuff. But anyway, number 2 for me, Long Live Rock and Roll, 1977. Okay. Number 1, always going to be number 1. probably everybody else's or most people's number one. If it's not, I'm good with that. But Rainbow Rising, 1976. This, to me, is the pinnacle of Rainbow. And it is one of the best albums that Ritchie Blackmore ever played on. I also think that this album is one of the best, although I do have fond memories and love for the first two Dio albums, actually, both, especially the first Dio album. But damn, 1976. Again, I don't know where I was. I wished I was here because I would have grasped this big time in 76 when it came out. If somebody just would have shoved it in my face, but they didn't. Anyway, my favorite, and more than likely yours too, favorite Rainbow album, Rainbow Rising. Alrighty, kids. As always, like I said at the beginning of the video, I appreciate every single one of you who watch these videos. I try my best. I'm extremely busy now with work and all kinds of other crazy things that are going on in my life. I guess we just call it life. So I'm trying to catch up with the comments that people make. Please give me time. This is not my job. This is not my... I do this once a week. I look at comments once a week usually. But I do appreciate all of your comments. I appreciate your likes. Please like these videos. Give me that thumbs up, okay? Because it helps with the algorithm. And even though I'm not trying to make any money, like I said before, thankfully, because I'm not. And I'm not trying to get famous, because I'm not. But I do appreciate your support. Alrighty? Like, share, and subscribe. Alrighty, kids? Until next time, peace and love.